The ground was already shaking before anyone saw them. Then came the sound. Low, mechanical, relentless. 5 tanks pushing forward through smoke and shattered earth, their engines grinding like something alive. They weren't rushing, they didn't need to. Nothing in front of them could survive. Infantry had already pulled back, positions abandoned, anti-tank guns silenced or burning. The line was broken, and everyone knew what came next. Steel would roll over what was left. And then something didn't move. Not a squad, not a gun crew, just one man, still somewhere ahead of them, hidden in the wreckage. No support, no clear escape, facing armor that should have erased him. In seconds, the tanks kept advancing, which raises the question no report could fully answer: why didn't he run? There was no second line. Behind him, no hidden unit waiting to engage. The radio had gone silent, and the last withdrawal order never reached his position. He was alone, somewhere between the abandoned trenches and the advancing armor. He made a decision that didn't fit any training manual. No anti-tank gun, no artillery support, just what he carried: a single launcher, a few rounds, and terrain that offered more shadows than protection. Against 5 tanks, it wasn't a fight. It was a delay at best. Seconds, maybe minutes, before steel crushed everything. But he didn't fall back. Instead, he moved closer, close enough that one mistake wouldn't just fail, it would erase him completely. The first tank never saw him. It rolled forward, blind to the broken ground, decided, its armor thick, confident, untouchable, at a distance. That was the rule. Stay back, engage from range. He ignored it. Instead, he waited, still, letting the machine pass, just enough to expose its weaker side. Every second, stretched thin, measured against the rhythm of tracks crushing dirt. Too early, and the shot would bounce. Too late, and he'd be under it. He stepped out at the last possible moment. One shot, one chance. The impact hit where armor thinned, a flash, then fire, pushing out. From inside the tank itself, it worked. But now, they knew someone was there, and they started looking. What he did next wasn't taught. It wasn't recommended. It wasn't even supposed to work. German anti-tank doctrine was clear. Engage from distance, use coordination, rely on positioning and support. No one was trained to hunt tanks alone, up close, with almost nothing. But doctrine doesn't survive when the line collapses. He abandoned the rules, not out of bravery, but because they no longer applied. Every move became instinct, every decision immediate. He used debris for cover, shadows for concealment. The battlefield itself became his only advantage, and the closer he got, the more dangerous it became for both sides. Because now, the tanks weren't just advancing, they were searching, and he was still inside their reach. The second tank didn't move with confidence. It slowed, turned slightly, its turret scanning the ruins, searching for the threat that had just appeared out of nowhere. The illusion of control was gone. He used that hesitation, not charging, not rushing, just slipping between wreckage, staying low, closing the distance again. Every step risked exposure. Every shadow could betray him. Another shot, closer this time. The explosion came faster, louder. The crew inside never had time to react. Now it wasn't just a threat, it was a pattern. The third tank fired blindly into the rubble, tearing apart anything that could hide a man. Dust filled the air. Visibility collapsed. And in that chaos, he disappeared again. But now, they weren't advancing anymore. They were hunting him. Something hit him before he even heard it. A burst of fire ripped through the debris, and suddenly the ground was closer than it should be. Pain followed late, sharp, spreading, pulling strength out of his arms. He didn't check the wound. There was no time for that. The tanks were adjusting, faster now, smarter. He had maybe 1 round left, maybe less, depending on what survived the blast. His breathing turned uneven, movement slower, sloppier. This was where it ended. It should have ended, exposed, injured, outnumbered. And still, he moved forward, not away from them, toward them, because stopping now wouldn't save him. But what he chose to do next shouldn't have been possible at all. The last tanks didn't rush him. They held position, waiting, watching the smoke settle, as if they understood the danger now had a shape. Somewhere in front of them, wounded and nearly out of options, was the one man who had already broken everything. He couldn't move fast anymore. Every step dragged, every breath fought for air. One tank edged forward, testing him. That was enough. He closed the distance again, closer than before, close enough to hear the engine, through the armor. No margin left. No second attempt. The shot came late, almost too late. Impact, fire, silence. The final tank turned to withdraw, but it didn't make it far. And somehow he was still standing. After the smoke cleared, the numbers didn't make sense. 5 destroyed tanks, 1 surviving soldier, no confirmed unit support, no coordinated defense, just fragments of reports scattered across after-action logs that never fully agreed. Some accounts place others nearby, unnamed figures who were never identified. Others insist he acted completely alone, despite the odds. Even his method is unclear. Details shift, distances change, timings don't match. And then there's the silence. No widespread recognition, no detailed citation. Just a story that appears and then fades, which leaves one possibility hanging in the air. Not that it didn't happen, but that we were never meant to understand how it really did.